Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Yusuf Abdul Hakim Adimala. I am a Gold Microsoft Student Ambassador, uh, and I welcome every one of us to the Microsoft Excel product group discussion. Before we kickstart the session, I would like individuals to introduce ourselves. Okay, Charles, kindly unmute yourself and introduce yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Uh, okay, let me turn on my video. Uh, okay. Okay, hi everyone. My name is Charles Adeki. I'm from Nigeria. I'm a better ambassador. And yeah, am I supposed to talk about what I do?
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool.
Okay,
Really?
so yeah, I'm a student of chemistry from the Federal University of Technology in Nigeria. And I'm a data analyst, a tech educator, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Let me not go into so much details here. But that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Charles, from Federal University of Technology, Akure, right?
Mina, Niger State, Mina.
Now, also, it's nice having you here, Charles.
Thank you,
Um,
Yusuf.
Krishna, over to you.
Hello everybody. I am Krishna and I am from India and I am a student from World Quant University as a financial engineer and I have been from Microsoft Student Ambassador almost 1 year and at present I am a Microsoft Beta Student Ambassador and I have been using Excel mostly for my financial modeling, financial data analysis. So for the data and mostly I use Excel for all these things and basically during in my first year and all I just use basic random I too don't know about this much extensively Excel can be used in this much widely. After learning about Excel I got to know like how it plays an important role in Excel in the industry finance and everything. Apart from that I am also a student trainer and a mentor thanks to Microsoft student program and I have been complete certified in Microsoft Azure Artificial Intelligence AI 900 and Azure AI Associate certification, and I also been certified in Microsoft Office 2019. That is also thanks to Microsoft Student Ambassador Program. I got these opportunities, these certifications to complete. Hoping I could also provide all these in this valuable session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Krishna, for your introduction. Over to Indeed. Okay, Shahzal Rahman.
Hello, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Indeed. Um,
Yeah, good day, everyone. I'm
um,
Wakil Kendi, a
can you
graduate
put
of,
on,
you said,
sorry, can you put on your camera?
no, I can't. Sorry. Hello, at the moment I can't. I'm kind of in transit.
Okay.
So, by now, by name, I'm Wakil Kendi, a recent graduate of University of Ibadan from the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. I'm a software engineer. I'm a full stack engineer, basically. I work on both front end and back end. I create backend so front-end applications, and I've been into the development for over 3 years. And recently, I'm looking into grassroots applications. I'm looking into collaborations with anyone that's into DevOps as well. So that's just a brief introduction about myself.
Thank you so much, Andy, for your wonderful introduction and joining us at the Microsoft Excel product group discussion. Thank you. Over to Shahzal Rahman. Shahzal Rahman, are you there? Okay. Okay. Ubaida, are you there? I am kindly introduce yourself. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for the Microsoft Excel product group discussion. Kindly note that our discussion here should be a non-disclosure agreement about this information that the product manager from Microsoft will be sharing with us should not be shared with anyone outside Microsoft. As I've explained and introduced myself, my name is Yusuf Abdul Hakim. I'm a Gold Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador, and we are going to be having Micaela Gravier from Microsoft, who is a Microsoft Excel Product Manager, who will be joining us very soon. This is the agenda of discussion. Today we are going to be discussing about the introduction to the Microsoft Excel and the current product portfolio, the recent development in Microsoft Excel, and we are also going to be looking at the user feedback and insights from individual. So individual are going to have a contribution that we are going to be putting forward to understand what are the feedback that we have since when we have been using Microsoft Excel. So we're also going to be looking at the future roadmap and the challenges that Microsoft Excel is, we think, for the product managers should include and put forward to the engineering people, to the engineers who are at the front end and the back end of the Microsoft Excel to work on, and what are the preferable solutions that can be put forward. Then we are going to be having the question and answer session. Then we have the conclusions and the next step. So let me just introduce Microsoft Excel to individual. It's likely that we already should have known this before. Microsoft introduced Excel in 1985 for Apple Macintosh, which by that time there is what we call multi-plan. Multi-plan is kind of the predecessor of Microsoft Excel, which was released in 1985 for Apple Macintosh computers. When does multi-plan, when does this evolve? When it started? When was it started? The evolution from multi-plan to Microsoft Excel in 1987 marked a significant shift, where before that time there is nothing like Microsoft Excel. There's only multi-plan. Then from there, the multi-plan became Microsoft Excel in 1987. So what has Microsoft Excel brought forth to the advancements? Why feeding away multi-plan, and Microsoft Excel has brought forth a range of enhancements, including an improved user interface, extended capabilities like VBA and cross-platform compatibility. So the brief history about Microsoft Excel is that Microsoft Excel Microsoft Excel started in the year 1985. It started as Microsoft Multiplan for Apple Macintosh computers. In 1987, it was rebranded. The Multiplan was rebranded by Multiplan. There was a rebranding of Multiplan to Microsoft Excel with improvement like an enhanced user interface like VBA integration and Windows compatibility. By the early 1990s, there is the integration with Windows, the graphic user interface enhancement, the VBA implementation. Then we now have the introduction of pivot tables and pivot charts. Also, there is also introduction of VBA for automation, creating complex macros and advanced data analysis. So we also have introduction of XML support in Excel 2003 for seamless data exchange and data analysis. So in 2007, we have the introduction of the ribbon interface in Excel 2007. In Excel 2007, replacing traditional menus and toolbars. We also have, in 2010, there's introduction of advanced data modeling capabilities with Power Pivot and slicers in Excel 2010. By 2013, we have in-memory processing introduced in Excel 2013 for improved data calculations and analysis speed. So in 2007, we have the introduction, I think we discussed that. So this is the current product portfolio of Microsoft Excel. We have the Microsoft 365 Excel. We have Excel 2021. The Microsoft 365 Excel is so powerful, and the extent that it has the co-pilot features in it, whereby you can use the co-pilot to do a lot of things, to build and to make your work. It is user-friendly and it makes your work easy. You have the Excel 2021 and the Excel for web, which you can use the web interface to use. You can use it for Microsoft. You can use the web interface to get use and access to Microsoft Excel. Then there's Microsoft Excel Mobile, which you can access on your mobile phone. There is one for Excel for Mac, and there is one for Enterprise. So here with us we have Mr. Abdul Latif Ubi, who will be joining us, and within 10 to 15 minutes we will be discussing about Microsoft Excel using it for financial modeling. Now over to you, Mr. Abdul Latif Ubi.
Okay, thank you very much. Apologies, I can't put on my video at the moment. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all can hear me. Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. So, typically, there's this joke we say, right, that the entirety of the global financial system rests on the shoulder of Microsoft Excel, right? Because at the moment, I'm not aware of any other tool we use in building our financial models, right? Yes, there's the Google Sheets, but for most analysts, they'll tell you, don't use Google Sheets for me, right? Because a lot of functions, a lot of formulas are not just that readily available on Google Sheets. So for Microsoft Excel, it's pretty much easy. Once you know your functions, is just the way to go about it. But just to run us through what financial model is, there's this stuff I always say, financial model or building a good financial model is a combination of three things. The first one is your understanding of business models, right? Every business has a business model, no matter what sector it is in. It has its suppliers, it has its customers, it has its internal operations. Your ability to understand these three core aspects of a business helps you to come up with a range of assumptions that can help you do your forecast, understand the historicals, and also project into the future, right? Then also the second part is also what is it called? Your understanding of financial accounting, right? You don't need the expert level, right? I know me mentioning financial accounting, a lot of people probably cringe on their seats like accounting, right? But you don't need that expert level. You need basic accounting knowledge because once you understand your double entry principle and where to put what in the financial statement, every other thing just falls in line, right? Yes, it's a good to have if you have expert level, but in the preliminary stage like this, you don't. A basic double entry principle works at any day, anytime, right? Um, lastly, and this is very, very crucial, right? If you want to build a financial model as fast as you can, what is it called? As simple as possible, you need to also understand your Excel functions. Like how will I put it? It's the shoulders of the giants you can stand on at any day, anytime, right? And also when we also do financial models, we always say it's a mixture of an art and science, right? There's the 1+1, the 2+2, A times B, B times C, right? That your Excel functions will help you do very fast. But your ability to sit down and say, with the new what is it called? With the new finance bill or tax bill in the house, this is the impact that's going to be on taxation in the next 4 or 5 years. Is the art of it, right? And that is what basically distinguishes you from any other analyst that you can probably have out there, right? That you can probably have out there. Yeah. So right now, I just want to, because that's just the introductory aspect. The conversation today is showing how we use Excel in financial model. So I'm just going to share a demo I typically just created. Just give me a moment. Everything you see in what is here is not real, right? It's just a bunch of numbers I just basically put together about 30 minutes ago. And we're going to use that to build our financial model as it is, right? So I assumed this company started 2 years ago, or last year rather, 2023. And I assume 2024 is a full year. Can you guys hear me? And can you see my screen, please?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. Right, and can you see my screen? Please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see.
Yes, you can see your screen.
Oh, okay, cool. So this is more of a demo created. None of this, it has no company behind it. So let's assume this is an FMCG, right? That is typically just started last year. Let's assume we produce biscuits, looking at mass markets in Nigeria and West Africa at large, trying to capture the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement conversation that is currently going on, and looking at areas of expansion, right? So I assumed, yes, it started off. So bear in mind, each unit you are seeing here is about 1 million. So given that we were in Nigeria, I'm also using Naira, right? So basically started off with about 6 billion Naira in asset value, depreciated by, let's say, 10% annually. Each asset is about 10 years. So like I said, this is not a real company. It is me just coming up with various numbers, and we are going to build out our financial model out of this. Are we in agreement? So I shared this document with Yusuf. I don't know if you can share with everyone, so that after this, you guys can give it a try on your own and see how it probably plays out at the end of the day. Then I have a couple of assumptions saying that, you know what, the fixed asset turnover, yes, in the last 2 years is about 0.5x. In the next 5 years, it's going to grow to about 1.75x, right? 75x is 1.7 times, 75 times, right? We've seen direct costs about 70%. We envisage that because, yes, they are just starting off, there's little in cost inefficiencies here and there, and they are going to improve on that in the next 5 years. So I'm seeing that to drop to about 40%. Other income margin, probably investments in one thing or the other, basically that generates other income for them. We see that, yeah, it did about 5%. We are expecting it to grow to about 15%. Depreciation rate, yeah, about 10%. Thereabout. Apologies, it's supposed to be 10%. Right. Finance expense. Yes, we also see this about current last year 18% because of CBN has been increasing interest rate this year. We are going to say that probably will be averagely around 35% on an average. Then by next year, down to the next 5 years, we see it come back to about 18%, as we project Nigerian inflation figures to come down. Mind you, this is the art of the financial model I was mentioning, right? Your ability to sit down, understand the company, understand the sector, understand the economy, and say, okay, this is what I see happening based on your analysis, right? Your research is also very, very important in building out a forecast, because like one of my managers will tell you, this is not like an academic exercise. This is a kind of a real life projection of what you expect to happen. So mind you, in the real world, all of these numbers have implications. So you have to be very, very careful about them, right? EX tax rates, 3%, given 30% company income tax, education tax about 2.5% and 0.5 for one, that and the other. We see that coming down to about 28% because of the tax bill in the house, right? Asset growth rates, we also see that are kind of improving. Yes, we said expansion, right? So we expect in 2024, because it started last year, they're probably going to double their asset size, then add some more assets. But as your asset size increases, whatever addition you're putting on in percentage in terms is going to be lower, right? So we see that happening as well. Then debt ratio, we expect their debt to asset ratio should be probably around 40% on the average. Most companies always want to be more aggressive or conservative depending on the sector they are in, right? So all of this, you also need to be very specific on the kind of sector they are looking at. Then debt tenure, we are looking at about 10 years, receivables of about 15 days, inventories of about 5 days, and payables of about 10 days. And these are the equity cash injections we expect the company to make. So if you have to start with this, right? Let's see. Opening balance is always the same as closing balance, right? Then addition, we say this is a percentage of closing balance, right? Please, if I'm losing you, please call me back. I might be moving faster than you can keep up with. So try as much as possible to call me back if you can't follow, if you are not following through, right? So we're looking at depreciation of about 10 hours. Okay, this is going to be. So one of the things we try to do, I'm just trying to do this simple, is if you are doing a full financial model, you are probably going to have several asset schedules, right? For each asset you are buying, you are having a schedule for it. Oh, interesting. For each asset you're buying, you have a schedule for it. So I'm just going to run you through. I'm trying to be as fast as possible, right? So depreciation. Yeah. Right. So sure. So you probably see something like this. Yeah. So I don't think I have enough time to go about it, but basically you have this. I'm just trying to go as fast as possible to run you through this, right? So you have your closing balance, the same thing as the opening balance. Then we know the addition is basically we have yeah. So just schedule 40%, yes. Then repayments, we know our debt not to be 10 years, so it costs us some. So if you don't understand anything I'm doing, please do call me back as fast as you can. No, that's not right. Okay. Interest rates, finance expense, killing me. Right. So now that we have this, we can just quickly put this together, which is saying our revenue is same thing as our asset turnover. So our total asset for this year is this times what we have for our revenue, which is 0.6x. So basically we are saying our revenue is about 60% of our fixed assets. Then our direct cost is a margin of our asset, what's called our revenue, which that is, where are you? Yeah, 60%. Right, so that basically fills up. We'll do that later. Income also, we have revenue. So basically, I'll just try to finish for 1 year, then you guys can go on to finish the others, if that's okay with everyone. So we already have depreciation in the schedule we created here. Our finance cost is also here in the schedule we created. Yeah. Then our tax rate, we know. So this is always quite tricky for most people. There's something we call effective tax rate and actual tax rate. Effective tax rate is, but we'll come down to that details later. But what I'm trying to say here is, if I'm not making any profit, you're not going to charge me tax, right? So that's exactly the function I'm going to do here. So if this is less than or equal to 0, give me 0. If not, give me minus whatever profit I have here times the tax rate I have for that year. Where tax rates 33%. Yeah, then close brackets. So we have our net profit for the year. Here we already have our fixed assets in the schedule we created. The closing balance, right? Cash will come down to that later. Then receivable days is also always going to be your revenue times your receivable days, which is 15 in this case, divided by 365. I'm very sure we are all familiar with our ratios, right? Then inventories is also going to be cost of sales times inventory days. Yeah, times inventory days divided by 365. Then this is just going to be the total current assets. We'll come back to cash later on. The same thing we'll do for payables. We have our loan balance, which is closing balance of our debt schedule. Capital, so this is basically just going to be this, plus let's assume whatever injection we have for this period, right? Then retained earnings is always going to be this. Oh God, I think my time is almost up, but pardon me, let me just finish this year, then we can continue from there. Oh, 2 more minutes, nice, right? So here we already have what our EBITDA is for the period. Just come pick it up. Our tax for the period, also come pick it up. So cash flow is always one of the easiest things to do because for most parts, you're just picking it up from wherever you have it, right? Receivables is always going to be, we know if our receivables is bigger, that means our cash will most likely shrink. And if our inventory is bigger, most likely our cash will also shrink. So what we do is always going to be the previous year minus the current year, where that gives us that. But in payables, because it's liability, if it's bigger, that means we have more cash, right? If it's bigger, that means we have more cash. And if it's smaller, that means we paid out more. So which basically means our cash will most likely shrink, right? PPE is investment that we made for the period. So you basically go back to your asset schedule, the additions for that period. This is supposed to be negative, right? Seriously. Just put this and yeah. So equity contribution, we already have other assumption here, which is our equity injection for the period. Then our debt contribution for the period is we also have that in our schedule, which will basically come here. Then debt repayment, because everything is well aligned, so you just have to bring that into the equation. Then what we have our cash for the end of the year is basically going to be a summation of all the balances we have, which is your financing activity, your investing activity, cash from operating activities, right? Cash from the beginning is also the same as cash for the end. You bring that in, there is sum both of them together, that gives you this, right? So this is negative. Why is it negative? Then we remember our cash. We'll come here and bring in our cash, right? So a lot of these things, like I said, this is more of a dummy. Typically, if your cash is going to be negative, there's going to be a short-term borrowing that's probably going to go and cover it up, right? So what you can just basically just do is either you have more investments or more equity injection for that period. Let's assume we have this is 18,000, right? You'll see that this turns positive, right? And here you have your retained earnings of this. So there's a check here which basically saying something is wrong. All we just basically need to do is what's causing this to be wrong, right? Also plug that into the case. So if I'm not mistaken, yeah. So we see what that is wrong. So we'll come back to the asset schedule. Something is wrong here, which is saying this is supposed to be some right. So if you come back here, you can see that is corrected. So what I just want us to do is, since we have that, right, just go down to, right, Control R. Same thing. Control R is basically saying copy everything to the right. Control G is copy everything to the left. Copy everything down. Sorry. Control R again. We can see the cash balances here is not adding up, so we'll come down here to do the same thing. All right, and by the time we come back, this is all checked, right? So I would like all of us to go back at our free time to do the same thing. So basically, that's the idea behind the financial model. Once you have your assumptions, you understand where everything flows into. What's remaining there is just your what is it called? Your Excel skills, and that's I just what's it called? Displayed there. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abdullatif Ogubi, for your presentation on Microsoft Excel, using it for financial modeling. Thank you so much. During the discussion, we have the product manager for Microsoft, that's Micaela Gravier, joining us. Micaela, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, awesome. It's nice having you here. We are currently discussing about Microsoft Excel using for financial modeling. I would like to ask some questions, and over to you, Micaela. Do you have any presentation?
Sorry, do I have a presentation?
Yep.
I don't have a presentation. Sorry. I thought I was gonna be asked questions.
Okay. Okay. So, what new features or improvements can we expect in the next major update of Excel?
Sorry, it's a little bit difficult to hear you. Do you mind typing saying the question again or typing it in the chat?
Okay. Okay.
Also, hi everybody. It's nice to meet all of you. Yeah.
Hello, nice meeting you.
Hello, Michaela. Nice meeting you.
And huge thank you to Yusuf for organizing and driving this meeting. I think it's really, really great that you guys are learning about Excel and trying to improve all of your skills. And yeah, I'm happy to talk more about things related to Excel or any questions that you guys have in general for working at Microsoft, or being a product manager at Microsoft for Excel, opportunities to learn more and improve your Excel skills. What new features or improvements can we expect in the next major update of Excel? That is a good question. I would say a big thing is it's already out. I don't know if you guys have access to it, but have you all heard of Copilot?
Yes.
Yeah. Who you can raise your hand in the chat, or yeah, thumbs up if you heard of Copilot. So if you haven't, Copilot is basically like Microsoft's ChatGPT is how I like to describe it. And have you guys heard of Copilot in Excel? Okay, so basically, what is now available. So Copilot is not just like a chat GPT, is not just Microsoft's version of chat GPT, but it's more advanced because they're really kind of deeply integrated in a lot of Microsoft's products and services. So that includes Excel. So if you have a subscription to Copilot like M365, you can access basically like a version of chat or of Copilot that's for Excel. And it kind of allows you to get insights from your data, from your worksheet. It can help you understand formulas, figure out what functions and formulas to use for things that you're trying to perform. It can apply like conditional formatting rules for you. And another thing, which actually I don't, it's a little bit difficult for me to say like what you guys might have access to or not. So, I don't know if this is a Copilot feature or not, but there's a lot of data cleanup, which is new to Excel, like automatic data cleanup suggestions. So I'm sure a lot of you, maybe I should ask this, like, what do you guys use Excel for? And you can like drop it in the chat. But a lot of people tend to, need to do a lot of data cleanup when it comes to using Excel. So you can have like a list of schools, for example, in your table. And I don't know, I'm trying to think of like
I think I can help you here.
yeah.
So typically, when you're doing more of like a categorization, when you have a list, right?
I'm sorry. Your audio is
categorizing a bank statement, for example, and you're categorizing them into, let's say, bank charges, salaries, and whatnot. Okay.
I think your audio is breaking up a little bit.
Can anybody in case you can hear me?
Yes. Now it's better.
Okay. So as I was saying earlier, let's say you're trying to clean up a bank statement, for example, and you're trying to categorize them into salaries, operating expense, bank charges, and the likes. So after the first 10 rows on the likes, the Excel basically tries to help you understand what you're matching against each other and give you a suggestion. So rather than having to type it all over and all over again, by the time you click enter and go to the next one, you have it there, and all you just have to do is accept it all, or if there's any adjustments to make, then it does that for you as well. So I think that's one thing she's mentioning.
I think so. So with the new version of kind of Copilot or of Excel, basically if you have you can have like for you need to clean up your data essentially. So let's say like as I said, you have a list of schools and the variation of those schools might be a little bit different. What it will do is it will look through your data and it will just come up with a suggestion to replace all of like the similar variations for that, one school, so that, you can easily like sort and search through your data. I'm trying to see if I can find an example. I may be able to find one, but I need to look through. I'd have to pull up an Excel sheet. But let me see if there's anything else that I can share with you guys that might be better. A second, I think I have a presentation which I could around Copilot in Excel. But in the meantime, whilst I'm pulling that up, I can answer some other questions that were in the chat or people from the group had. I'm also not looking at the chat, but okay. So how does the team prioritize user feedback and feature requests? That's a good question. I think it's a complicated question. I don't know if I'm the one that if I can answer it to like the whole team, how they prioritize user feedback and feature requests, because one thing is deciding like what features we're even going after over in the whole of Excel, versus like the team that I'm working in. And the more senior you are, like the higher scope you have of features that you're kind of prioritizing and in charge of and defining the strategy and all of that. I think it has a lot to do with the amount of feedback that we're getting around a particular feature. So if we're seeing that we're getting a lot of feedback to improve a feature, that means that it's causing a lot of pain to our customers. And so that's something that means that we should be prioritizing that feature. Basically, I would say like the way to think about this is like, what is the impact that this would have if we implemented this feature or if we fixed this feature, and then how much effort or cost would it take to implement or fix this feature, and kind of figuring out, like weighing out that sort of balance with all the other, features that you're looking into implementing or fixing, and seeing like which one basically weighs as having the biggest impact and like the least cost, right? That's like a very broad way to summarize it. That's not to say that just because something has like a low cost, we're not going to implement it. But if it has like a really, really big impact, and yes, it has a higher cost, but a really, really big impact to our customers, that is something that we would, even prioritize more highly over something else. So I don't know if that like fully answered the question, but happy to delve in a little bit deeper more into that. There's also, are there any plans to improve integration with other Microsoft 365 apps or third-party tools? Yes, there is. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but there you can like Excel is now more integrated with PowerPoint, for example. So the experience of basically like adding a chart to PowerPoint and then bringing that out into an Excel workbook and vice versa is kind of a more like seamless experience. So you can refresh your data in PowerPoint for charts that you have on there. So I would say like there's definitely already things that we've done to integrate Excel more into other Microsoft 365 tools. If you look at, I don't know if you guys have heard of Loop, but Loop is kind of like a product management or note-taking tool in for Microsoft. And they have like basically you can create tables in Loop and export that to Excel. So I think there's always, you know, we're constantly looking for ways to bring and integrate Excel with other products, whether they're new or old, and just kind of make sure that it stays relevant and useful to our users. So integration of Python with Excel, that is a great comment because that is actually another thing that I wanted to go into that already exists. So two big things that have happened for Excel recently is Copilot in Excel and Python in Excel. I'm trying to find like the presentations, but I can definitely also just share the links with this to you online, which you can, you know, search up with on the internet. So raise your hand if you have access to a Windows desktop. So if you have like a Windows machine. If you have a Windows machine and a student account, for the most part, you should be able to access Python and Excel. So Python and Excel is a really cool new feature. You know, as a lot of you know, like Python is a really powerful tool for data analysis. So is Excel. And now with Python and Excel, you know, you can basically do even more powerful, deeper analysis. Your plans to expand language. So yeah, let me see if I can also find the one on Copilot in Excel so you guys can learn more about what features are offered around Copilot in Excel. And while you may not have access to Copilot in Excel, while you may not have access to it yet, definitely encourage like learning more and reading up about it. Because a lot of companies have started buying subscriptions to it to make it available for their, I don't know if this is the right page. I feel like they've just done a cleanup, but this should be good. Okay. In the Excel blog, you should hopefully find a section around Copilot in Excel. Are there plans? Let me just see. I'm making sure I'm reading through all of this. How did I make my way into Excel PM? Yes, I can explain you a little bit more about my career path. Happy to do that. So I graduated from university like a year and a half ago now. I went to school in Canada, went to McGill. I don't know if you guys know it, but I studied computer science, and through a student kind of career fair, I met a recruiter who was telling me about this Microsoft internship program called Explore. And this program was specifically for freshmen, so first-year students and sophomores who wanted to explore software engineering and product management. I kind of always knew that I was more interested in product management, so I was super excited about this internship opportunity because it really is a little bit harder to break into product management being so early in career. Typically the journey is, you know, software engineer into product management, or if you're a business, you know, there are other like information systems you can go to, maybe product management or something like that, consulting, but it's not usually like where you start off. So I was really excited about the opportunity. I applied and I luckily got the internship. And then I returned again my following year as a kind of just a product manager, not an Explorer intern for Microsoft on the Excel team. And I really, really loved that experience. I loved the work that I was doing and just my team as well. As a product manager, you know, you're speaking with a lot of customers, you're doing a lot of user testing, getting feedback, iterating on designs, working with designers, working with engineers, you know, stakeholders to really understand like the feature that you're building and making sure that it's gonna have the impact that you want it to have, and it's meeting kind of the goals of that feature that you're owning. So I really, really enjoyed it. And yeah, and then I graduated and joined full-time in September 2023, I think. And since then I've been working in community. So that means like basically engaging with customers and finding ways to raise awareness of Excel, increase kind of adoption and usage of Excel. And also, I've been working on the charting side of things. So anytime you create a chart or a graph in Excel, we're kind of improving that experience. So there's more to come in the future, but building new features related to charting and specifically charting on the web. And also, yeah, specifically charting on the web, but just in general, ease of use and kind of modernizing charting. One thing that I do encourage all of you is use the Excel web app version more, because we've made a lot of changes in the last couple of years to improve that experience. And I think in some ways it is better than the desktop version, especially if you're newer to Excel. And yeah, like learning more. I think it could be more approachable for students to use the web version. So try it out. If you find something that you don't like, give feedback. That's something that I always encourage, because we actually read through and listen to feedback and comments that are given. So please do. And yeah, I encourage you to all try that out. But yeah, that was a little bit of my journey into Excel PM. I was sort of just put on the Excel team, but I really, really loved it so much. I love that I'm working on kind of such a customer-facing product, and that it's such like a big and well-known product as well. So any feature that I work on, no matter how small, will have such a huge impact. One thing that's important being a product manager is you constantly have to think about your impact and really try to focus on numbers. Like, when you're building up your resume, if you're interested in product management, always think about what the work that you did, feature you implemented, even if it was as a software engineer, how many people did that impact? Like, how many people are using that feature? What's the, I don't know, daily, month, the daily active users, things like that. Like, how did you reduce, I don't know, a negative feedback that was coming in, or kind of negative reviews, something like that. So really focus on like numbers and percentages. I don't know, maybe I'm assuming that some of you guys are interested in product management, but if you're not, like, I can move on. But yeah, that was just a little bit of feedback there. And if you have more questions around that, happy to share more. We'll need to drop a little bit soon, but how is AI being integrated into Excel to enhance productivity and automate tasks? Yeah, that is a great question. I would say Copilot in Excel is the way to answer that. That is all about basically just using AI to really, like, Excel is a really, really powerful tool. And I think for a very long time, people have felt that it's like you're almost treating it like a programming language, right? Like, it's a niche. In order to use it to the best of its potential, you need to kind of like learn so much and kind of almost be like an Excel nerd is what I'd say. And with Copilot, we really want to change that narrative and allow people who are new to Excel, have less experience, and are still learning, to just through the power of Copilot, build really powerful and advanced things without needing years of building up that knowledge. And also, like, saving you time. So as I said, with like data cleanup, for example, I'm referring to that feature in particular because I love it. The fact that, like, if I just have so much information in a table and I'm like, this needs to be cleaned up, or like this just, yeah, does not, I need to like sort through this data properly. And right now, like with the way it's formatted, because let's say you're taking data in from a form and people filled out the form a little differently. Having to like sort through that in the past would have been so hard, but now, you can just kind of do it through Copilot. Yeah. So yeah, those are some things. What measures are in place to ensure the security of data within Excel, especially when collaborating online? That's a great question. I can tell you that security is Microsoft's #1 priority right now. It has become a really, really big priority for us in the last, I mean, it's always been a big priority, but particularly in the last year or so. You know, I think really around all of the world with a lot of tech companies. But as I'm not in the security team, I can't, and I don't think I'm senior enough to be able to answer specifically what's being done because it's not the area that I work in. I have very much noticed a big shift in the kind of prioritization that we're putting into security and people's data, you know, especially with Copilot, right? Like, you know, people's data is being analyzed through that, and we're very wary of making sure that your data is secure and not being, you know, shared with other organizations or even within you know, how it's being mindful of how it's being used. Yeah, and I even noticed it when I have to share files, like just it's become a lot more painful, but for the good to share files because of the increased level of security. There are plans to expand library of templates and add yes. If you're interested in Excel templates, I encourage you to look at create.microsoft. They have a lovely array of templates, not just for Excel, but for other products as well. You know, I feel like some of these templates could be better, but I always encourage you to look through. I know we're building out more Python and Excel templates as well. I don't think they're out yet, but you know, with Python and Excel, we want to create that too. Kindly provide the link to the Excel web version. Yes. So the nice thing about the web version of Excel is that you don't even need to have basically it's free. So there is a free version of Excel, and that's online. So you can either use the web version of Excel with a subscription or like through your student account, or you can just, you know, if you don't have an account, use the online free version. So I think I just sent the link to the free version, but I can also find just Excel online. I think you should be able to access it. I think through, I'm trying to think where you can find one. Usually you have the option when you get a link to a file to open it either on desktop or in web. If you go to, I'll follow up with more information on that, but you should be able to just like any file that you have easily open it through desktop or through web. Yeah. I will there's a few more questions. Unfortunately, I do need to drop because I have another meeting. Sorry about the kind of timing miscommunication. I hope this was helpful for all of you, but I can answer more questions in the chat after, or maybe I can, you know, come back in the last, you know, 30 minutes of the meeting or something like that. But I hope all of this was helpful to you guys. It was lovely to meet all of you, and you know, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn if you want. If you want to have more time, or I know Yusuf is doing a great job driving people to join the Microsoft Excel Collegiate Challenge as well. If you're interested in getting involved in Excel, that's a great way to do it. I'll drop my LinkedIn here. Here you go. And yeah, Yusuf, let me know if you want me to join later again. I can do that. I just unfortunately need to drop to this meeting.
Thank you, Micaela.
Okay, thank you so much, Micaela, for your wonderful contribution to the Microsoft Excel productive discussion. We'd like to be having this kind of a discussion and discussion monthly we'll be having product managers from Microsoft to discuss more about the features of Microsoft Excel. Then the co-pilots that you have discussed about. Okay. Is there anyone who has a question? What has been discussed? So I'm going to share my screen now to show us some of the features that has been added to Microsoft Excel. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
So
Yes, we can
this
see.
is Microsoft Excel 365. So we now have the add-in. If you have the Microsoft 365 account, you can have the add-in. Then this is the form. So this form has been added. You can create a form. Okay. You can create a form here for Microsoft Excel. It's still loading. So while it's still loading, so you can use the new form option. You can create a form here. Then there is map, which you can use. So also in the page layout, we have the formula. We have different formulas for financial activities, for financial modeling. Then the one for logical, the AND formula, the by call, by row, false, if error, if lambda, map, not. So this is for mathematics. If you have minvers, log, acos, acot. So for statistical, you can use this for statistical. For engineering, those are in engineering, you can use this for basically LJ, Basel K. For cube, for information, you can use this. Then for compatibility, you can use any of this formula here. And for web, you can use this for encode URL, filter, web service. It's for name manager. So if you want to get your data, whether your data from file, from Excel workbook, from text or CSV, from JSON, you want to get your file from PDF, then you import your data. If you want to import your data from folder file, from SharePoint folder, it is from database. If you want to import your data from database, from SQL Server database, from Microsoft Access database to Microsoft Excel, from analysis service, from SQL Server analysis service database, from Oracle, from IBM, from MySQL, from PostgreSQL, from Sybase, from Teradata, from SAP HANA database. So if you want to get your data from Azure, we have from Azure SQL database, from Azure Synapse Analytics, from Azure HD Insight, from Azure Block Storage, from Azure Stable Storage, from Azure Data Lake Storage, from Azure Data Explorer. If you are using for Power Platform, you can get your Power BI, you can get your data from Power BI. Just click on the Power BI, then open the Power BI, then from there you can get your data. So if you also want to get the data from web, from picture, this is if you want to protect your workbook, as has been discussed, that Microsoft is so very keen about the security of our data. So if you want to insert pivot table, so this is you want to protect your sheet. So password and then click OK. That is if you have a sheet that you want to protect. Then if it's your workbook that you want to protect, you can put your password there. But don't forget your password. Very important. So this is the view function. If you want to switch windows, you can have your windows here. Switch. Then if you want to update, you can use the update option here. Then if you want to automate, if you want to record your action, your new scripts, then those that these are some of the templates for Python in Excel. So you want to write or edit Python code using the Python formula by typing py in Excel, or go to formulas, and then you click on Python and select insert Python. So you can use your Python in your Excel now. So let's go to is there any question? So I think, yeah, this is available for all student ambassadors. Yeah. So this is available for all student ambassadors. Okay, Charles, you can ask your question.
Okay, so I've heard about the features, the recent features in Excel, say the one you showed us so far. So I was quite wondering exactly what the person asked, if it is available for our all ambassador. The Excel, I don't know, my Excel version is telling me it's 365, but I'm not seeing these features there. So I thought to ask, how do I get these features in and get them in my Excel? Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for the question. You can get these features in Excel by activating your Visual Studio Code and your Microsoft Student Ambassador benefits. So through the Visual Studio Code, you can have access to Microsoft license or like Power BI license and get 100 US dollars Azure credits monthly and some other features too. So yeah, you can use the Microsoft Excel web version to access this. I think Micaela introduced this, which you can use it. You can use. So let me share this. Okay. So if you look at the free template for social media document that Micaela here shared here, you can use it, get the features also using the web version. So you can also have the Power BI is embedded here. Yeah, it's embedded now in Microsoft Excel. Okay, let me ask this question. What are some of the most common challenges Excel faces in terms of product management, especially when introducing complex features or making major updates? Is there anyone to answer that question? Mahmoud, are you there? Okay. So everyone, you can open your mic now if you have any contribution. Okay, awesome. Damila Yakimi, yes, yeah, it said it's working now. Awesome. Mahbub, if you have any presentation, just for 5 minutes for individual. Krishna?
Yes.
Do you have any updates that you want to share with us on Microsoft Excel for 5 minutes?
I didn't get you. One second.
Sorry, you said what?
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you, Krishna.
Yeah, could you repeat is what you were trying to say?
I said you have 5 minutes for your presentation on the Microsoft Excel. If you have anything you want to share with us.
I didn't prepare specifically a PPT presentation because anyhow we are doing Excel only, so I didn't prepare any presentation. I just thought I would just show what is the Excel, how it is used in industry standards, just a basic overview about how it will be and how Excel helped me in financial engineering in my degree, how it plays an important role. I would like to discuss about that, but specifically I didn't prepare any PPT for Excel.
Okay. So Mahbub, Afshat, do you have any contribution for 5 minutes?
Yes, I have one question. Just
Mahbub,
can I
can you
ask?
open your camera?
I'm audible. I'm audible. Hello.
Okay. Damilari Akinyemi, yeah.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much. I don't know if I'm the only one that experienced this. Anytime I'm working on Excel, that has so many formulas, it keeps lagging. It's not me and other I have someone to that experience such. So it's always lag. I don't know why.
Okay. Can you share your screen and let's see what you are facing?
Okay, let me see if I still have the file here with me.
Okay. Obeida, we have 5 minutes for. Do you have any contributions to Microsoft Excel?
But I don't have the file yet. I think I've deleted it, but if I find it again, I can share it with you.
Yusuf, would you like
Hi.
uh, would you like me to explain about Excel in financial engineering?
Yeah. In five
Okay,
minutes.
sure. See, guys, Excel is a widely used and main important tool in financial engineering, because financial engineering is an application of mathematical techniques or financial theories and computational models methods to solve problems related to finance, such as risk management, derivative pricing, portfolio optimization, which are major part in the finance field. So Excel plays a pivot role in this field because due to its flexibility and ease of use and powerful functions. So the I would like to say core functions of Excel for financial engineering will be statistical functions like average and correl measures the correlation between two data sets useful for portfolio and analysis. And another one will be Monte Carlo simulations. It is used for Excel using random number generators to simulate various scenarios, including stock price movements. As we can see, daily stock price movements in Nasdaq, that is Indian stock price. I mean Indian stock price in Forex or Nasdaq's. We can see the fluctuations in the prices. We will use for Monte Carlo simulations in Excel, and we will use it in financial modeling. And portfolio optimization, the purpose is that to create a portfolio that maximizes return for a given level of risk. Let us say if there is a certain amount of risk, but we want to optimize the risk, so we use portfolio optimization techniques in Excel to derive insights from it and optimize the model. So how it helps in portfolio optimization by Excel? Excel allows users to calculate returns, standard deviations, and correlations between different data sets using Solver. It is an optimization tool. One can find optimal weights for portfolio assets to maximize the Sharpe ratio, or we can minimize the risk. Okay. And another one is major important is risk management. Obviously, financial engineers frequently use Excel to analyze and manage the risk, especially in areas like derivative pricing, portfolio, and asset allocations. So we use sensitivity and scenario analysis to measure how different values of an input affect the output. Like let us say, while scenario analysis evaluates the impact of different scenarios on the financial outcome. We use Excel for data tables, scenario manager, and goal seek. We can analyze how changes in variables such as interest rates or stock price affect model outcomes. And main thing is time series analysis. It is a very important time analysis used in across machine learning or in major hedge funds companies like we can say uh, op, uh, which company, let us say JP Morgan's or Goldman Sachs, or these regressively uses time series analysis Excel. So the purpose is that is essential for finance engineering for forecasting asset prices, returns, and modeling trends. We predict the future trends based on time series analysis, and Excel is a very important part of this time series analysis. And conclusion, Excel is an all-in-one tool for financial engineering. It is a very good tool, and from creating financial models to running complex simulations and analysis. And given that Copilot is now integrated into Microsoft Excel, so it will be a lot easier, and we can financial engineers can do a lot more in Excel very easily and effectively, and it will be a game changer for financial engineers, not only for financial engineers but engineers in any field, let us say healthcare or military defenses. And Excel is a one of the major part right now, and you can say Copilot made it a lot more easier, beginner friendly. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Krishna, for the wonderful contribution.
Thank you.
So, over to Ubaida. Do you have any contribution? Okay, awesome. Thank you. So, over to House, Hideki. Do you have any contribution?
Hi everybody, just 1 second, Yusuf. I just found out this very useful website link. If anybody is a beginner in Excel and want to learn more about Excel, very beginner friendly, and you don't want to confuse, I will paste a link for you. See, we can see in the uh, see, yeah, exactly. Just a second. So here
Okay, thank you so much.
you can, it is a beginner friendly and you can practice it. It will be awesome tool. It is an awesome website. I hope you all utilize this. And one more website from Microsoft. Thank you.
Okay, Oluwato Singh, do you have any contribution?
Thanks so much for this opportunity. And I've discovered that Microsoft over time has improved a lot, and there are new and exciting features. Thanks so much for this opportunity and this session.
Okay, thank you. Damilari Akinyemi.
Okay, thank you once again for this opportunity. There is no so much I don't have much to say because I'm a statistics student, so most of these features has been talk about the new formulas being added. So I just checked now from my end here. I noticed that new statistic worksheet has been added too. So it's a great improvement. Nothing to say more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Damilari, for the contribution. Shahzal Ahmed. Okay. Over to hello, Adioye Yahya.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I am Matthew Yahya, so I'm really excited about this session. I know of Excel very well, but I never knew it had a lot of functionalities like this. So this is my first time of hearing about the simulation use of Excel. So it means there is a lot of things to explore in Excel, and I'm highly excited to join through. And I'm really happy that we have a community where I can reach out whenever I have issues. So I'm really excited about this. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. Is there any more contribution? Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for joining the call. So, those who have joined us, okay, Charles, okay.
Oh, sorry. I typed a question on the chat. I was asking, I've been hearing about modeling. Like, I know financial modeling, you don't do like, I don't know, actually, I'm not an accountant, but as a data analyst, like, while I was learning about modeling, data modeling, I came across Power Pivot at some point. So I was asking, does anyone here use Power Pivot for modeling? Because I feel, especially when it comes to large data sets and all.
Yeah, you can use Power Pivot in Excel, but it depends on what you want to use it for. It is also a feature in Microsoft Power BI where you can use it for data cleaning. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining this call. I think Micaela will not be able to join us because we'll be rounding up the session now. Then probably in the next month, we have another Microsoft Excel product group discussion. Thank you so much for joining the call. Those who are joining who are Microsoft ambassadors can reach out to me for their nomination for Gold milestone and to be added as a contributor to this discussion. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Yusuf, for this good session. It is nice to see all the student ambassadors and product manager here. Thank you for taking this step.
You're welcome, Krishna.
Thank you, Yusuf. I had a wonderful time.
It's been a wonderful discussion. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining.